Hi, my name's Dominique. And this is my cat baby, Peggy. And today we're talking about
Zohran Mamdani.
Zohran Mamdani. Mamdani pulled off a major upset.
Okay, so I never thought that I would be, speaking on the internet. I never thought I'd be speaking on the internet about politics, especially as a woman, especially as a black woman, especially as a black woman who looks like me. A black woman who is kind of unserious. My friend groups are quite politically minded as well. So I enjoy having these kind of conversations, and I would really, really love to make these conversations with more people that aren't just in my immediate proximity. So that's why I'm opening it up here. That being said, fact check me. I love being fact checked. I love learning more things, but we need to do that really respectfully. So if we do see that behavior happening, let's just ignore it, pretend that it's not happening, and move on so that we can have good, genuine, and meaningful conversations. That being said, on to the show.
This is an historic week.
So, the Democratic primaries have just wrapped earlier this month with incumbent Eric Adams and former New York Mayor Andrew Cuomo ceding the race but vowing to return as independents. Meanwhile, the relative underdog Zohran Mamdani took the Democratic nomination. Here's some videos if you want to learn more about that. But in the meantime, what does that have to do with us? Me, I live in Oklahoma City. I don't live in New York City. Why does it matter? You'd be surprised.
I will be your Democratic nominee.
So, simply stated, the Democratic Party has a problem. In a two-party system such as America's, it really feels more like 20. We've got what's considered the right, we've got what's considered the far right, we've got what's considered the left, and inside the left, there's a billion different opinions. And it always feels like if you don't agree with every single thing that this one group says, then you're on the outside. Whereas if we compare that to the other side, the right, a lot of times maybe they agree on maybe 1-2 topics and they're just allowed into that in-group. And I feel like that divisiveness in the left is what's led us to a lot of issues. So taking New York City's mayoral race as a microcosm, we can talk about how they had that issue themselves. So in 2021, they were contending with a new type of system. In this system, it is ranked. So basically, the person that you favor the most would be ranked 1, 2, so on. Because the left tends to be so divisive, the candidates that some people favored would be at the top, and then let's say the second most popular candidate, they put all the way to the bottom. Oh, never this person. They disagree on this one topic that I'm really passionate about, which I get, which I understand, but we gotta keep the bigger picture in mind. So what happened was there were a few candidates that a lot of people generally liked better, who should have been on the Democratic side, 1 and 2, but maybe 1 would be here, 2 would be all the way down here. And so somebody like an Eric Adams, who is generally medium favorability and was maybe 3 and 4 all the time, ranked 3 and 4 consistently, ended up taking the top spot. This is something that sounds really familiar to me. Something that I feel like we've all contended with. If you really think about it, or even think about it a little bit, you'll know what I'm talking about. That's familiar. This time around, a strategist called all around getting advice from their peers, from their mentors, and they come up with a better system. They said, let's work together. Instead of tearing each other down, how about we build each other up? Whoever gets to the top, we'll endorse each other, we'll work it out. We gotta keep our eye on the prize. And I'm saying Democratic Party, we gotta keep our eye on the prize, right?
We were like, hey, you all were rumored that you might want to run for office. Let's all meet. We met in a room that no one knew about. Many of the candidates who were on the slate were in that room with us and a few other people. And we were like, hey, what we don't know is what we're going to do yet, but we're going to talk about what could be possible. And we learned, we called people in California. We're like, how do you do ranked choice voting? We talked to people from Australia. We're like, how do you do ranked choice voting? And everything we learned, we took back to be like, hey y'all, this is what we learned. We run as a slate. We run together. This is what we have to do. And can y'all make this commitment? And people were like, I don't know, maybe. People couldn't see it. And we were like, here's a video of 2 people in California running for mayor, cross-endorsing each other. And we showed them that video. And so when I saw the Brad Landers, Zohran Mamdani cross-endorsement video, I was like, we did it.
I'm just taking all this information in and reflecting on my life experience as a progressive woman, and y'all can be scary. It's scary. One little thing, and it's not even that you disagree, but you just worded things wrong. You didn't know the most up-to-date terminology, and all of a sudden you're on the outside. People feel ostracized, and that builds up a resentment. But I can certainly see how other people fall down the pipeline. You know, it's similar to how other groups recruit people, other types of groups recruit people, you know? They see somebody who feels ostracized and feels resentful, and they build up that resentment. All this discourse reminds me of a video that I watched by D'Angelo Wallace back during the election period, where he was imploring people to keep your eye on the prize. I'll insert that video now.
Why not put my energy first into making sure that side is not in office? And then once we have the less insane administration, that's when you can unleash all the criticism you want. Can and should, by the way. I read this online. This isn't my quote, but elect the party you want to organize under. That's what I wish somebody would have told me when I was a little bit younger, complaining about both sides.
I wish more people would have gotten that. And I think that if we would look at NYC, we can see that it's a possibility that we can do this, because they did that there. So Mamdani, by most people's standards, he didn't stand a chance. He shouldn't have made it in, but he did, because we stuck together. I really feel like we need to work before these people become the finished product of the radicalized pipeline, right? Head it off at the very beginning. And how do we do that? I think we do that by working together, honestly. I think we do that by being kind and by being open. We take off these polished veneers that we've put on, that we know everything, we've been know everything. We knew that was wrong from the beginning. We knew all that information from the beginning, and be honest about our journeys. Have I said things wrong before? Yeah. Like me, I'm proud LGBTQIA plus woman, but have I misgendered people? Yeah. I'm trying my hardest. Have I judged people for misgendering people? Yeah, I have. Was that exactly fair when I saw that they were trying their hardest? No, but it's what I felt like I was supposed to do. Honestly, we've all made mistakes, and we're all learning, we're all growing, and I feel like we need to create a space for that so that people can come in and learn instead of trying to learn and entering later. Have you ever met somebody who's too shy to go to the gym because they feel a little pudgy? What's the gym for? The gym is for running. The gym is for getting into shape. The gym is for getting healthy. But people feel like they have to get healthy before they can go into the gym, and it stops them from ever working out. I feel like it's a very similar experience. We need to work together. We need to all make the gym a welcoming environment.
It's all paid for by cuts to Medicaid.
So, in conclusion, if you really take some time and reflect on it, I feel like we can all learn something as far as like keeping aligned and keeping our goals together and not shattering our minds over one thing, and move forward and actually make a positive impact. We allowed this resentment to fester and grow in many populations, and then when it becomes a big monstrous thing that we can't ignore anymore, then we try to fight it, then we try to pinpoint at it. But what use is fighting the boss if you haven't leveled up the skill tree? Start at the bottom. Start at the bottom when they're just now learning, when they're just now entering, and try to make a more welcoming environment. Make an environment where people don't feel like they have to know everything all at once, where they have to build everything all at once. I feel like a lot of times people extol the Democratic Party as the party of compassion, and I'm not making an argument against that at all. But I feel like if we really are the party of compassion, this shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be hard to not immediately come out of the gates judging people for not knowing everything. It shouldn't be hard to gently guide people to the goal, especially people who agree, people who have the same values and virtues as well, and are just figuring their way out. But what do I know? I'm just a girl. Also, go vote in your local elections. I never voted in a local election. I got Ryan Walters, and now Oklahoma went from like 48th in education to 50th, and we're spending money on Trump Bibles. Vote in your local elections. Bye bye.